Working for yourself, being your own boss, sounds great in the beginning, but like many solopreneurs, many sole traders, you soon discover that giving up the day job is not as glamorous as it seems. Loneliness and a lack of motivation will eventually creep in, and you may even find yourself thinking how you miss your 9-to-5 job more than you thought would be possible. However, if you think on that, you know that you went into business by yourself for a reason or a bunch of reasons. But somewhere along the way, motivation is lost, but that motivation can soon be found again. It's really important to mentally prepare yourself for those bumps in the road, of which there will be many, and understand how to motivate yourself to keep going even when it seems bleak, even when the going gets tough. In this week's I Hate Numbers podcast, I'm going to share 5 tips on how you can stay motivated as a solopreneur. Let's crack on.
You're listening to the I Hate Numbers podcast with Mahmood Reza. The I Hate Numbers podcast mission is to help your business survive and thrive by you better understanding and connecting with your numbers. Number-loving care is what it's about. Tune in every week. Now here's your host, Mahmood Reza.
Number 1, make your business adapt and fit to your lifestyle. Now, freedom is often quoted as one of the top reasons solopreneurs leave the corporate world and go into the business by themselves. I remember that one of the primary reasons that I wanted to work for myself over 30 years ago was to be more in control, more in charge of my own destiny. Now, being in business by yourself, entrepreneurship, offers you that chance to fit work around your lifestyle, not the other way round. Therefore, the key to staying motivated is actually putting this into practice. What we think and how we behave are 2 separate things. Now, more particularly during the startup phase of your business, you may feel as though you need to dedicate every single waking hour to your budding enterprise, but is that really the reason that you started out on your own? Aligning your business with your lifestyle will boost your overall satisfaction and give you that motivation that you need to carry on and keep on working and make the schedule work for you. For example, if you like having those time spent with your friends, that happy hour, adjust your working schedule so your days start and finish early and there's going to be time left over for socialising afterwards. If you're a keen fitness fan, then take advantage of your flexible hours and go to the gym at a time that suits you, perhaps midday, early morning, late afternoon. Go when it's more likely to be quiet. Doesn't mean you should abandon those things that you enjoy. Make them flexible and adapt to your life and business together. Now, these are just a couple of examples. So take some time out, think about the ways that you can balance your business to map and join up with your interests. Tip number 2, find a co-working space. Now, being able to work from your home, the comfort of your home, has its upsides and it sounds fantastic. But being on your own, not seeing anybody all day, perhaps daytime TV to keep you company, can be very lonely. I remember those days when I started my own business from my back bedroom. Those days can be quite isolating. You don't have that social interaction that you're used to in a workplace. You also run the risk of going stir crazy. And also, if you've got family members at home, that peace and quiet that you might strive for is not going to be present. It's going to be difficult to focus, difficult to concentrate. Check out your locality. Is there a co-working space near you? Can you hot desk somewhere? You may be able to find a space where you can meet like-minded individuals and work in a relaxed but focused environment. Co-working spaces also will run lots of useful events like workshops and seminars, which can help you learn new skills and develop your ideas. What's tip number 3? Well, tip number 3 is about finding a support network. One of the biggest advantages of co-working spaces is the opportunity and chance to meet and learn from your fellow business people. They can empathize with you, understand what you're going through, that most of your friends and family probably can't. They also can give you that well-meaning boost when you need it. Plus, they'll be able to offer valuable insights and advice to help you through your problems. Now, folks, while we're talking about support networks, please do check out the show notes at the end. And Numbers Know How, our sister company, is launching with the support of I Hate Numbers, a fantastic business community packed with resources to help you and your business, handy resources, training opportunities, and the like. Enough of that. Let's crack on with the podcast. Now, obviously, co-working isn't the only way you're going to meet other entrepreneurs, other business people. There are mastermind groups, they're very popular. Please do exercise your due diligence before you embrace one. A mastermind, if it's well structured, is a peer-to-peer mentoring group where you can find inspiration, bounce those ideas around and enjoy the support and advice of fellow entrepreneurs. Now, participating in this type of group activity also helps keep you accountable, which is essential when that motivation dial is going into red. Tip number 4, balance your workload. Now, balancing your workload is easier said than done, but it's a vital part of staying motivated. Now, studies have been carried out that showing that small business owners tend to work longer hours than the average worker. In the United Kingdom, companies can't force their employees to work any longer than the contracted 47.5-48 hours per week, but there are no such constraints on us being in business on our own account. However, I always advise clients of mine, think of yourself as an employee of your own business and therefore make sure you have a relationship that would be that of a good employer. Set yourself a time limit to make sure you don't stay beyond those hours that you're working. You're certainly going to put in more than other employees, but you want to stay productive and you want to keep your sanity. Now, it may take time to get it right at first, but make those small modifications, those adjustments, and find out what's going to work for you. If you put too many hours in, if you work too hard, you'll burn out, you'll lose that motivation, and you won't progress, and you'll probably end up getting bored and resentful of your business. Now, don't lose sight of those long-term goals you have set yourself. And remember, your journey is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, what's the last tip I'm going to share with you? Well, that last tip is rewarding yourself. Instant gratification is undoubtedly more motivating than slogging towards a long-term goal. The problem is that entrepreneurship, being in business, is all about the bigger picture. And it may be some time before you reap the financial rewards and others of all the hard work you're investing and you're putting into your business now. Now, one of the easiest ways around this is set yourself smaller goals. Set yourself those achievable things in a shorter time frame and attach rewards to each one. That reward-effort relationship is a powerful way to power forward. For example, if you're finding it difficult to work that 8-hour day, motivate yourself, break it down into smaller steps. That if you accomplish certain things by a certain time, then you're going to reward yourself with a walk, a favourite snack, perhaps the gym is something that takes your fancy. Scrolling through videos, social media, looking at lots of lovely videos of cats might be the treat you give yourself for putting in the effort. Obviously, you can set yourself bigger bonuses, more extravagant things when you achieve larger milestones. Now, what can we say in conclusion, folks? Well, in summary, the key to staying motivated as somebody on their own account, as a solopreneur, a self-employed individual, is to enjoy the journey. And remember, you've got to have fun along the way and remind yourself the reasons you went into business in the first place. Self-discipline is crucial, but you can't sustain a punishing schedule for too long before you start to suffer from that. Now, it may sound a cliche, but finding that work-life balance is truly the secret sauce for success. Folks, I hope you found this podcast useful. If you've got some tips to share, I'd love to know what your tips are for staying motivated. Remember to check out the link for the waiting list for the Numbers Know-How community. The launch is coming and it is going to prove to be a wonderful resource to have in your business. Until next week, folks, keep that motivation going.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and appreciate you taking the time to listen to the show. We hope you got some value. If you did, then we'd love it if you shared the episode. We look forward to you joining us next week for another I Hate Numbers episode.